All right, everybody, welcome to Winners Wallets Worldviews. Today I'm honored to have a very special guest on the show. Her name's Genecia Alluora, and she's the former Miss Singapore and Southeast Asia Woman of Excellence for 2010. She's the founder of Soul Rich Woman, the #1 female entrepreneur network in Southeast Asia that connects more than 200,000 women across the region, with presence in 7 countries, including Singapore, Malaysia, the Philippines, Vietnam, and Indonesia. She's the recipient of the International Progressive Women Award in 2019 by Aesthetics International, the Council for Progressive Women, and the Iconic Influencer 2019 award. With a vision to empower more than 1 million women, Genecia is passionate about helping women to take their businesses from offline to attracting clients online, get recognition and build brand as a business leader and owner, and make a positive impact on the world. She wants every woman to be able to find their own F word, being fabulous, having freedom, and financial independence. Ladies and gentlemen, this was an exciting show today. She's been profiled in CNBC, the China Daily. Genecia is a globally renowned speaker and leading the women's empowerment movement with over a decade of experience speaking on stages worldwide. She's spoken with Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant and Elena Cartone. She's been included in the Rise Conference in Hong Kong, Success Conference and Expo in Asia in 2018, and the National Achievers Congress in Manila. I'm your host, AJ Armstrong. You can follow me on Instagram at AaronArmstrong33, and you can always go to my website, AaronJArmstrong.com, to connect.
Welcome to Winners, Wallets, and Worldviews, the only show that's going to teach you
how to be somebody.
Where in your life did you learn that you're not good enough?
Take what you're most passionate about and what you're most fearful of, and what is the plan to overcome that fear, and what is the plan to enact that passion.
Welcome to Winners, Wallets, and Worldviews, everybody. Today, we are so grateful. We have Genecia Alluora, and she is coming to us from Singapore. So it is, we're just talking before, it's 8 o'clock in the morning there, and it's like 6 p.m. yesterday to them here. So this is a wonderful opportunity we have. And after doing some research, you built a company from absolutely nothing, and you had kind of, really humble beginnings. And I want to go back to your story of where did you start and how did you start to dive into the entrepreneur space?
Well, I basically run a company called Soul Rich Woman. Basically, it's a women community in Southeast Asia. We empower women to go from offline to online. We are in Southeast Asia. We currently have 200,000 members. I run a team of 21 staff, and basically we are focusing on helping women to get clients online and to get their recognition and brand recognition online, which means it could be personal brand or business brand recognition online. Before all these things happened, I got a lot of my experience through running a cafe retail chain, which we have built from scratch into 3 countries: Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia.
So you started, so I apologize to
Yes.
interrupt. So you started this cafe chain yourself back, when was this about? Or was this a company that you were working with?
It was 2014. So
Okay.
me and my other partners, we started this business together. We have 18 franchisees and licensees. So I was my role was PR and marketing. The other partner was franchise, another partner was in operations, and so on and so forth. So I really believe the power in partnerships, and that's why we were able to successfully build the business and grow the business. We invested about $3 million growing it globally, and then later on exited to a public listed company owner. So this was really an amazing experience, because sometimes when you tell people you run an online platform like a women community, people will snigger at you and say, "Oh, you mean you only know about online?" So my experience of that offline balance, that worldview point of, having run local on the ground staffing and across regional businesses, plus having done online and successfully crossing my first million in 2013 in a year.
Wow.
And so that give people a balanced viewpoint, because when people say online entrepreneurs or bring your business online or getting clients online or putting your brand online, there is this misconception of, it's just e-commerce.
Sure.
That's often what we get. So by having this thing that we push forward with my experiences, it did help to give women a more over or like a more all-rounded viewpoint in order to take the step forward to invest in themselves.
Sure,
So
sure. So you had
prior
some
to
background in brick and mortar. You brought that experience into
yes,
now the online space. Got it. Awesome.
yeah, and it's different because people want to see that you are unique in your own way. That's why when you said about getting started successfully, it's really not just about okay the current product and service you're offering right now. It's
Mm-hmm.
the makeup of who you are, the DNA of who you are, which is
Mm-hmm.
the story part you have to relate to. I mean, when I
Yes.
was younger, when I was 14, I had to support myself through school. I was bullied in school consistently because I was not good looking. Didn't had a lot of money to buy new clothes, new shoes, new bags. So my things were quite old and it sometimes handed me down by my mom's friends or by the older cousins. So, there was one time there was this group of mean girls who came to me and they cornered me when I was playing basketball, during physical activity time. And they pulled open my shirt and then they peered at my bra. And then they said, "Oh, you're wearing the same bra." And I totally felt humiliated. I
Mm-hmm.
felt that my life was like gone, right? But
Yeah.
it consistently happened again. There was another incident in classroom where they took my bag, old bag, and then they threw it across the classroom floor, and all my books were strewn all across the floor. I was like, okay, kill me now. I wanted to commit suicide at that point. I feel that if this continues, I don't think I can take it anymore because they're in the same class as me, right? So my mom was my pillar of strength and support. And my mom never gave up on me. She kind of taught me about life and of course because I had a good relationship with my mother, so I was able to tell her about my thoughts about suicide and everything else. So that kind of like helped me pave a way to see that support system is really important. And I applied that into my business right now. So our whole makeup, DNA makeup of our entire journey, we may not know exactly what's happening at that present moment. Life is always about looking backwards and connecting all the dots and saying,
Mm-hmm.
all right, I've come that far. This is what I've done. And my mother
Yes.
is the reason why I'm doing Soul Rich Woman right now because she's my support, she's my legacy. I want to be the legacy for her, and she is like the community leader in our own community. I still remember an incident where I said, Mom, I need to fill an event with people. She said, how many buses do you need? One bus is like 40 packs. And I'm like, I don't care how many buses you need, just give me people. I'm just gonna pay for the bus. And at the day of the event, 3 buses showed up.
Oh my gosh.
120 people showed up and filled seats at the event. I'm like, what the?
Well, so
So
well,
yeah,
so
it was
so
cool, right?
this is yeah. Keep going. I want to hear the end of the story, and then I got so many
Yeah.
questions
So
for you.
so 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 I was like, Mom, where do you find all these people? She said, you just said any amount of people, right? So I got you 3 buses. Okay, thank you.
So tell me, so your mother is a huge influence on your life and kind of what you bring into your business. And you talk a little bit about her, so I get an idea. But tell me more about your mother and just the values that she upholds and kind of how that's impacted your business now.
My mom is someone who always tell me, if someone like beats you down, you just have to just get up and show
Mm,
them you're even better and stronger. It's kind of like Phoenix rebirth. You just have to come up and reborn to a better version of yourself 2.0. Not
yes.
just better, you are different, you're smarter. She always tell me you're different and you're smarter. And you're gonna be a 2.0 version of yourself. So that really kind of put me in a very good state, even though of course I go through my own ups and downs as well. Then also my mom believe in never stop learning. So my mom at a very, I think about 50 plus, she still go to university. There's this school in university. It's called the Silver University here in Singapore,
Okay.
and she still attended the school, and then she graduated with a counseling degree or something like that.
Wow. Just
Yeah.
still going.
So my mom is just like crazy. So, but I love her. She's cool. But with her values like this, which is different, I realized that a lot of people always think, "Oh, I'm better than you. I'm better than you." It's never about being better. It's we're different,
Mm,
okay, because of our made up of our experiences. So when we talk about personal branding or you want to bring yourself online, you have to be who you are, authentic, and that's when you can connect the dots together to show that you're different. So I hate it when, entrepreneurs put themselves in the same bucket called the so-called the red ocean. Oh, we offer the same services and product. We are better than them. No, I mean, what was your experience prior? Are you an air
Oh yeah.
stewardess before? Were you because you had failed before, or are you a single mother, right? So depending on the story, you can actually give people a hook so that you can hook them into your services and your products. Of course, later on, it's your own technical skills that will impress them, which is then why would people keep coming back to you? So that's another part.
Yeah, so just owning your unique story and being able to use that as a marketing tool, because like you're saying, everybody's unique, everybody's got their own strengths, everybody's got their own weaknesses that they've had to not only overcome, but when they do overcome it, the story behind overcoming it is what can be very relatable to other people. And you're saying like own that, like bring that into your message, because that's going to be the differentiator when you get out there into the marketing space.
Yeah, for sure. Because too many people are telling me and always asking the same question. Why can't I just brand the company and just brand tell my story? My story is boring, or they don't believe in a story, or they feel that it's not relevant. But that was the truth now. You put a title on a landing page in your funnels, say for example, and you said, oh, this company is 6 months old, and my name is Kathleen and Esther, and they'll probably take this name. Consumers like us will take this name and put it into where? Google, right? And then
Hmm.
we'll search, what's this company or brand all about? Is there any reviews that this company has done, or people giving reviews about their products or services? Why do you want to subject yourself to such pain when, if you're a newly startup entrepreneur, right? You're just starting up. May as well just tell them you've lived life for the last 30 years, and then you have done corporate life for the last 15 years, and you found life boring and decided to have a new lease of life by doing entrepreneurship. And by saying this, at least people know that you have some process going on, and you could be more relatable. Number one. Number two, they find that hey, I could just want to support you because I'm similar to who you are, because you're relatable, and I want to give you my business, right?
Sure.
So rather than doing the other business path where when people put in the search and they can't find you, why not let them put your name into the Google search and find you on LinkedIn, or find you on Facebook or Instagram, and make the instant connection, and be ready to collect money when people are ready to pay you for the services, because I see, I like, I buy.
Right. So just having that personal relationship. So go back to let's give two examples when you're working on building that personal brand, right? So let's say let's take a person that doesn't think they have an exciting story, right? Or they don't think that anything they did was good or whatever. What would you say to that person? What techniques and tips would you give that person to kind of pull their story together and to make them realize how exciting their life really was, or how the conflicts they actually did overcome? What would you say to someone like that?
First, write a resume, but an entrepreneur resume.
Okay.
So a lot of times we overlook our own milestones. We always often think that whatever that's happened in our life is not important. So get a mentor or a coach, or a neutral friend whom are more willing to give you an honest, open feedback to sit with you, and then really write it down. Like for example, 10 years ago, roughly what happened, the 5 years mark, roughly what are the key situations. But sometimes this part, the individual yourself may overlook it because you may think that it's not important. I've got this client, he's a guy. Even though we serve women, sometimes men do hire us for the done for you consulting part. So he is a renovation company here in Singapore. He was a designer first and then renovation. So you want to do your home, you want to do your commercial property, everything, he can do it for you. And he is an introvert, so it takes a very long time to dig out things about him. And you know what? So he said he's 20 years of experience. He helped brands in like such as Adidas do in Southeast Asia. He has done 40 outlets, commercial outlets for Adidas. And then as you dig, he don't tell you certain things. And then later on, he said, "Oh, actually, just a few years ago, I did Tiffany and Co." Yeah, I'm like, what? You want me to box you or what? And then later on, he said, "Oh, I've also done Ferragamo, LV, and Hermes." I'm like, I'm going to strangle you right now.
Like, this is
Why do
gold.
you wait until the last point, then you tell me this? Then he said, "No, but these are not very recent projects. These are some 3 years ago, 5 years ago, some were 7 years ago, right?" But I said, hey, this is a makeup of who you are. Can you imagine? So imagine this. If you were a homeowner and you hire a designer to design your home, would you hire him? This guy has got 20 years of experience. He has got the fine touches of Tiffany and Co.
Yep.
He has got the experience of running 40 outlets of commercial outlets of Adidas. He has done Ferragamo. He has done LV. Hey, wouldn't you just pay top dollar to hire this guy in to do up your home at a reasonable price, even though, he's a little bit more pricey, but it's still reasonable? Would you hire him?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
just look at, you're just pulling that gold out of their story. You're allowing them to like all these different companies he's worked with that are just like top notch. And it's like you're saying, he's just, I don't know, I guess I didn't really even think anything of it. But in reality, it's like, dude, look what you've done. We got to market this,
Yeah, but he didn't think that was important because he has been getting his business through referrals. And he didn't think that it was really important because people buy his face, right? Because if
Mhm.
you've been in the trade for 20 years, when you see a customer, the customer love you, I see, I like, I buy. But then after that, what's next, right? How long more can you do this method of I see, I like, I buy? So that's why what you think may not be important could be important to the client who's looking to purchase from you online.
Yeah, I love the idea of what you said, creating an entrepreneur's resume, just going back and thinking about all of those things that you accomplished or milestones in your story. I mean, my wife and I, we just started doing this 3 years ago, where every year we look back at the last year and we just said, what happened? Like, where was the conflict in our life? How did we overcome it? What were the types of lessons learned out of it? What did our business look like? We go through like this like year in review kind of thing, so we can document that. So when you go to your like you're saying, build your entrepreneur resume or go to do some kind of story selling, right, or marketing through a personal brand, you've got these examples and these stories and these cases. And we actually learned that from a motivational speaker, because I'm like, where do you come up with these stories, man, to like tell up on stage? Like, I can never remember any of these awesome stories. He's like, I just started documenting them all the time. And he just kept that going. I think that's an awesome tip for people that think their story might be boring. It's like, dig in there. I bet you got an awesome story. The second question. So you got the guy or the girl who thinks that their story might not be worth marketing, but then maybe you have someone that's really got a good story, but they don't feel comfortable sharing it, or they don't want to put themselves out there because it's very vulnerable. What do you say to that person?
Wow. Okay, so I've got this stay-at-home mom whom after she decided to love the F word because So Rich Woman represents the F word, being fabulous, having freedom and financial independence. So she came to us. She found fabulous really very exciting for her. But being in an Asian family, when you're married to a very chauvinistic husband,
Mm-hmm.
when she shared with him about, for example, making money online, so she made it in 2 months. In 2 months, she managed to launch a chili paste online, her own original recipe, handed me down from the grandparents to her mother, to her. And then when she shared with the husband, oh, I'm selling this. I just made my first four figures online. And then the husband said, oh, I make more money than you. Yours what, four figures only? I make 5 to 6 figures in one project. So when you say when you have a story and she was vulnerable and she, because she was staying at home and she knows that her husband is that kind of profile, when we get her up there to share her story, she didn't want to at first because she struggled of that stigma being judged, that if she were to share how her family was like, and the how people were not supportive around her within that mainframe family structure, that means the immediate family members, she was very ashamed to even say that. But we encouraged her because when you stand there and you're vulnerable and you're not willing to share, sometimes you're also taking away an opportunity for someone sitting over the other side listening to you, a chance to break through in their own situation.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing so, that's why number one is to really choose a support, like a women group, like for us is So Rich Women. Choose a group where we are there to give you the support that chi, so that you can really shine in a positive way. So you don't say things in a negative way. I think a lot of people perception means that you're weak or it's negative. The way you phrase it, give it context. Like even you draw a stick man, you will have to color it in, right? And to give it life. So same thing, just give it a context, explain the situation, take them through like a before and after and the success you've achieved. I think that would be an easier way for you to structure your vulnerability than just plain saying no, where you're also being said also being able to help someone else over the other side.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I mean, it's like how many other people could have been struggling with the same thing, and because you are afraid to tell this story, now this other person doesn't have the hope that they could have. That's one way of looking at it. And then on the other side of it, you made a good point at the end. It's like, show where that vulnerability eventually meets credibility, right? Where it's like, you were vulnerable, but show us how you solved the problem and how you came to the conclusion, and that it's been resolved. That might be a piece of this that could be really helpful to somebody else as well, because that's really the art of a story arc, is completing that character conflict conclusion. And how can you bring that through, and having the courage to share that could really help resonate with somebody that really needs that. So that's awesome. Okay, cool. So tell me more about this movement. So this Soul Rich Woman thing, I think it's really incredible what you're doing, and what are you doing? How are you going out there? What are the things that you are saying that's getting so much traction around women that make them want to become entrepreneurs and want to tell their stories in this personal branding method or whatever business they want to start?
Yep. So Soul Rich Woman, because SOUL is soul, rich, RICH, woman, WOMAN. So a lot of the women, when they see my brand, they resonate with it because they want the money, but at the same time, they want to have a complete, like kind of like inner alignment of what their dreams are and the fulfillment is going to be like. So for us, we basically have women to go from offline to online, and we stand for the F word, that women can have it all, being fabulous, having freedom and financial independence. So that F word, for women who love the F word, they want to be a part of the movement. So we kind of move them into this culture where we give them a cape to put on. So when they are at their homes, imagine this racetrack at this moment with a guy, okay, gentleman and woman, okay? And then in front of the guy, there's just maybe some briefcases and desk because of the work that they're doing. But for a woman, in front of her, there is like a washing machine, the clothesline when you hang your clothes, and then there's like kids, and then the kids' homework, the school bags, and everything else right in front of the lady, in front of the woman. So the big issue is a lot of them, when they're at home, they can't concentrate or they can't really function as an entrepreneur. So they need an environment. So one of my business model that we did in Soul Rich Woman, after doing this for 5 years, I can tell you we have clubhouses around Southeast Asia. Like for in Singapore, we actually have like a home office kind of area. So people talk about co-office, right?
Yeah, co-working kind of space.
Co-working kind of spaces.
Yeah.
I don't have that here. Ours is a home co-working space. So you can live and you can work. So sometimes they need 4 hours and they need to take a nap. Right, they will come over to our place, and then they will do a booking through a membership, and then they will come over for 4 hours to go to our podcasting room to do podcasting for the entire day, or 4 hours, whatever the case may be. And then they can even have a bed because we have several rooms. They can even book their room and then just take a nap before they go back home. So we do have women coming here to kind of like have a safe haven.
Yeah.
But owning that F word is not just about that movement, but we give them a culture, a cape to put on to say that, hey, the moment you step into this space, either is it online or the physical space, you are transformed totally, you are embraced, you can do whatever shit you want to do to get your entrepreneurial hustle out there, whether it's your podcast, is it your webinar, is it your funnel, whatever that may be, that you need that space to kind of like have that brain juice going on. So we do that here, and it's very popular. Yeah, it's very popular for us here.
let me just jump in for 1 second. So you have, as part of your movement, you've got these little space. So you've got spaces that you either own or that you lease or rent or whatever, right? And you own them or do you rent them? So you just have these spaces where
Yes.
women can come, they leave home, but they have virtually all the comforts of a home. So it's like
Yes.
they're not even, so it's like a co-working space on steroids, but with home, but it's like a home workspace.
It's a home because I designed the space to be like a home. You come in, it's like the living room, very nice
Okay,
girly
that's
family
awesome.
decor. But it's not cold because co-working spaces, I mean not all, but I feel that they fail, in my opinion, to
Yeah,
create that cozy feeling. It's just a cold table and desk kind of space
yeah,
because they are into property, right? But
yep.
for us, it's not. We are creating an environment for success. So it's a little bit different concept here. So
I think
our
it's
partners,
brilliant. I think that's
yeah,
awesome.
so different partners we find partners who own homes, who own property. So we have another partner in Vietnam. She owns a building, 4 stories. So because of partnership with So Rich Woman, she converted one entire floor to a home for women in Vietnam to go there to have experience of doing the podcasting, their webinar, their funnel, and everything else. Like it's not even a co-work space. It's just like you can stay there, you can sleep. Then there's
Do
a
they bring their
helper to
children
cook.
to these too? Or how does that work?
They don't bring their kids because they have to function
Yeah, they got
in their
some
zone of
separation.
genius. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So in Singapore, they bring themselves to complete the work, and you can hire our in-house, not say in-house, the ladies up we call it Soul Rich Woman coaches. They will coach them on the podcasting and everything else. And that's beautiful because it's peer to peer, and
Yeah, I
I
think
can see that,
this is great.
yeah, by creating this space, it allows women to succeed, and many women love this. They will camp the whole day, literally camp the whole day. Sometimes some of them camp over the weekend. They say bye, mom's going on a staycation, and then they come
And
over.
they can just stay overnight at these
They
things
can,
if
yeah,
they
they
want.
can just stay overnight, and it's part of our membership. Yeah, so they can just come over and just stay
What's
overnight.
a
And
membership like that cost? What?
um about 200 plus a month.
Okay.
Yeah, so but you can have access anywhere, and it helps them to get going.
Yeah, that's incredible. Okay. This is, yeah, that's just one piece of your business though, right?
Yeah, one part of the business model. Yeah.
Okay. So what are the other pieces? Bring me into this. I think this is fascinating.
Wow.
That's a really great idea.
The other one is a membership model. So our membership is actually $12 a month. So that's online, right? That's
Okay.
strictly online. So you receive 2 master classes a month, and then you get some office hours every single month with a different coach from the Soul Rich Women community. And then this is for women who usually, because we serve Southeast Asia, and of course, one of the mistakes I made in the past was to price it in a way that, I mean, do you know the income in Philippines is only like 300 USD a month, right? The income in Indonesia, typical women working in the workforce, only makes about also about 350, 400 USD. A lady from Indonesia also makes about the same amount. So when you travel, and Vietnam as well. So when you travel Southeast Asia, I mean, I live out of a suitcase to travel Southeast Asia to build this network, and it's not easy. And by looking at the numbers, I realized that $12 is a good start. All women or
Hmm.
any women can get started because that's a goal, right? We
Yeah.
want to help as many women as possible. I know that they can't at this point afford a 5 6 figure mastermind program, but at least $12, a curated platform to help them to kickstart in their personal brand, in their Instagram and their social media kind of like strategies. How do they even get started? So I think that's really good. And right now we have many women who have joined the $12 program, and really this model, even though it's low sum, we go by the volume. We want bigger and more people to join. So by women right now, our vision is to by 2020 reach out to 1 million women.
Oh my
Right
gosh.
now we're only at 200,000. I don't know how we're going to do the 800,000, but that's what you call a big, hairy, audacious goal, right?
Oh yeah.
So
We're gonna pump so many different women into this after this podcast. It's not even gonna be funny, right?
yeah, yeah. One of the telco in Singapore, actually, we met up in a networking event, and I was telling her, said she asked me for the first time, said, "Oh, so what is your vision?" I said, "Oh." maybe to reach out to 1 million women. And she asked me, by when? And I was like, because you see, let me give you the context. I'm a leader, right?
Yep.
Nobody asks a leader, what do you want? Usually, because as a leader, we always give first. We don't
Mm-hmm.
really think about ourselves so
Mm.
much.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, this lady is asking me, when do I want to achieve the 1 million women kind of mark? And I was like, maybe sometime soon, maybe 2 3 years. And then she was like, why not next year? I was like, how? In my mind, I'm like, how is it possible? We took 5 years to get to where we are at, and at 200,000, I mean, to go to 1 million, I mean, what else do we have to do, right? And then she was like, do it by next year, we'll support you. And that was how we got them in this telco, one of the largest telco in Singapore, to support us in a movement to teach women using voice to do marketing.
Okay.
Yeah, so they are going to be one of our big sponsors for the event next year. So, like I said, we are an online community. We help women to go from offline to online, and we only hold 3 events a year. Three, you know, we don't do much. We just do 3 events a year. So we need people like them to push it through. So coming back to the membership, that's another business model that we do. The clubhouse, I mean, kind of like home model kind of thing really helps as well, because women function very differently. Our lingo is different. Our thinking is different. And the funny thing is, the only workshop I ever conduct face to face, like in the last 5 years, is this workshop, 2 days workshop called the Soul Rich Woman Blueprint. So Soul Rich Woman Blueprint basically has like funnels in it, a component of funnels in it. And do you know that in Southeast Asia, a lot of them have already attended many relevant or related courses, but are lost. So somehow we are like the last leg, the last stop, where we don't use technical jargon, there's no techno babble, and there's nothing that's related to like the big fluffy words. And like we are the last stop, and that's why our numbers are growing very quickly as well, because we understand women, we serve only women, and the workshop that I conduct doesn't have any jargons at all, and the women completely understand, for example, what is a funnel in just a day. And after that, they just run, and some of them within 2 weeks they make 7,000. There's one lady, she makes $7,360 in 2 weeks. There's another lady, she makes about $2,000, $2,888 in just a month. And then we just have like women just spinning off and making money up and making more money and making more money, just because they finally understood. So I really believe that, when we do outreach and grow the business, we must understand who we are talking to and how we can really help them. Copying another person's thing, or, being very technical, using big bombastic jargon words, it may look good on your resume or on your landing pages, but may not look attractive to the person sitting over the other side. So you have to think very carefully on that.
Sure. So you're talking about, just being able to kind of break down, some of the marketing language or whatever tech language is out there, and being able to put it into, simple terms so that anybody can understand it, and it becomes much easier to comprehend. Going into your funnel that you kind of teach, like, what are just some highlights? Just give me some little gimmies or some little tips that you teach, without giving all the good stuff away, because people obviously have to jump into the program. But what's something that you think people could start right now?
Okay, so the way I do the class is basically I use 2 strategies. I only tell stories, and I use a lot of metaphors. So women learn by metaphors and stories the best. Of course, you must have some technical aspects to it, because when you're using a certain software or certain platform, there are certain technicalities. But leaving that aside, I don't even touch on that. But by using these 2 metaphors and storytelling, it works perfectly. So let me give you an example. When I talk about when you're not choosing the right customer base. So I've got this image consultant who came to us. She felt really lost. I asked her, why are you so lost? She said, we're supposed to focus on what kind of customers we want. And I target engineers, right? So engineers make good salary here. I mean, in Southeast Asia, I'm not sure in the US or
Yeah, it's still same
anywhere
here.
else. $5,000 to $8,000 a month. It can go up to $10,000, right? So as image consultant, she wanted to help them to succeed in their image and personal branding. But after going around 3 months, they were only willing to pay $300 to $500, even though their salary was $5,000 to $8,000 or $10,000, right? And she was not getting anywhere. So I said, hey, look at these people. They are civil engineers, mechanical engineers, structural engineers. Where are they functioning as a person? They don't need personal branding.
Mm.
They don't need personal branding for their work. Just like unlike sales staff on the ground, or if you're a CEO of a company, you need to have that personal branding. But
Yeah.
most engineers don't need. So they don't see a need. They're always on site, right? Wearing the helmets and doing stuff they don't need. So I said, why not like that? You target engineers, same thing, but look at their love life. I'm sure they will need personal branding for love life to find the other half, right? So she tweaked the messaging, still focus on engineers, but not at the work, but on their love life. And she succeeded collecting the $3,000 to $5,000 that they want. Because if you were to go to a dating agency, I mean, these people, they will pay money to have a good date of a selection. So they themselves need to be looking at their own brand. Right. So that was one of the ways we got her out of the rut. The other way was to change the focus from engineers to architects. So she actually started to shift the focus to architects, and she managed to get very big clients from there as well. So really, who are your customer base? And this is a story that we often tell in our class as well. And the women just get it. So they don't just ask technical questions. They'll just remember, oh, the engineer story. Okay, this is why we
Yeah.
should target and look at the customers the right way.
Yeah, it's easy to remember too. It's just, yeah, there's so much good stuff with that story, right? You could just like, pick all these different examples from it. It's just, understanding your ideal client. What is the client's motive? What is the customer's journey? All these technical things that, you and me would talk about or whatever. But it's like, if we're just explaining this to a room full of people, they don't care about the customer's journey or all that. They just want to know, like, the engineer that wants to get a dating profile. I think that's really, that's what's awesome. So it totally get it. I think that's just golden advice right there. And it's especially for people that are listening to this that are like coaches or teachers, or, they have their own online courses, just being able to like simplify into a story that it's so much easier to remember no matter who your audience is. Right. So yeah, that's some gold stuff. That is some absolute gold. Okay, so let's say, we've got people listening to this that they might be in a position in their life where they want to go through some type of change. They don't know what that is yet. Maybe they're just like getting out of school. Maybe they want to quit their job. Maybe they're transitioning out of the military, something like that. There's lots of different women that are looking at options out there in the workspace or in the entrepreneur space. What advice would you give to that kind of person?
Follow your passion, because I think passion outweighs anything else. For me, even when I was running my cafe retail chain, I felt empty because I just felt my soul was not aligned. And that's how the soul rich woman thing came about. Because even though I was doing my cafe, my mind was like, I'm being called to help women. So even though I was running day-to-day operations, I was kind of moonlighting at night, doing like webinars and like online stuff to reach out to people. So when you have passion, people can feel it at an instant. And when you post yourself online, or you talk about your thoughts and stuff online on social media, people can see that if you have that passion. But people can smell fakeness and also smell inauthenticity. If you were to like try to pretend to be someone else, because nowadays there's a blurriness between private life and public life. There's no such thing as private and public anymore. It's like two in one. So it's how you really present this entire persona to take your asset from offline to online. So that's what we do. That's what we do in a nutshell as well. To help women to do that and put it online. So don't think lightly of your passion. This word, I know, is a big word, but break it down into your mastery, what exactly your passion is all about. Like our mastery is about online. And then what exactly is your niche? Like my niche is actually to get clients online with branding. So that's why I get clients online and get brand recognition online, whether it's a personal brand or business brand. So go into that two other parts, which is the mastery and the niche.
Yeah, I think you're dead on. And hey, folks, right here, this is in the ebook that you guys can get. It's exactly what she's talking about. Look at this. I'm telling you guys right there. We got the Venn diagram right there. It's right in the ebook.
Wow.
It's for free. You guys can get this sent to you. This is my ebook, but we're saying the same things. It's about having that, your strengths, your passions, something that's marketable, what is really that blend? Because like, yeah, you want to have those passions, and usually when you're passionate about something, it's either a strength or it can be turned into a strength, and we can identify if there's a market or a niche for that. So if you want this ebook, folks, right here, like I said, aaronjarmstrong.com/email, you can put your email, you can just put your email in and we'll send it right to you. But yeah, absolutely hate to do shameless plugs like that right in the middle, right? Just coming in, but no, it's absolutely a resource to you guys. But just to piggyback on that, when you're following, something that you're passionate about, being able to identify that you're passionate about it, very good at it, and then that somebody finds that valuable, right? And I think that that's an interesting technique to take and to go through that process. So awesome, golden. Along with the personal branding talk, what avenues, so someone maybe that's more advanced in personal branding, maybe they started, maybe like me, right? Like I've started the process of it. I've got a good platform with social media, with podcasting, those types of things. Where are you seeing like the emerging platforms? Where are you seeing like the place to be? What is the thing I should be doing that I'm probably not doing right now? What would you say that looks like, looking towards the future a little bit?
I think the place that we need to consistently do as a baseline is what you're doing now, which is your podcasting, your coaching services, and consulting, and whatever that you're doing and helping people. The next part will be, how else can you get yourself known even stronger? That means like that expert and like that trade expert in within the industry. So I always believe in when people say image consultant, who does it come to your mind, right? When you say podcast host for in the area of in the genre of, let's say, business and online marketing, who is it that comes to your mind? So you want to be conquering a space where you want to be seen and heard, just like if I say funnels, who do you actually think of now, right?
Yeah, no.
So yeah, so that person's name comes to
Or
mind,
F
right?
word. Now every time I hear F word, I'm going to
Yeah.
think of
So
you.
yeah. So there is something that you want to be associated with. Like before I was running all these things that I was doing, which is the cafe retail chain to Soul Rich Woman. I was on TV, I was on radio, I was an image consultant, consulting CEOs and politicians. And in the whole market in Singapore, when the producers or when they have an event or when they're the magazines and the newspapers, they will think image consultant. You talk about anything related to etiquette and beauty and things like that, they will call me. So it's always the two person, me or the other lady. So if you can come to a point where industry newspapers and authority sites, when they talk about certain topic, they can call you and they contact you. I think you've won the game because, I mean, of course, you're winning the game at the point. But if you have reached to the next level where when they think of the keyword, they think about you. Like for me in Southeast Asia now, they think about women community. Like, I don't know if you know Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
Grant Cardone came with his wife, Elena Cardone, to Singapore together with Gary Vaynerchuk. They had a talk here to run some conference. And Elena Cardone wanted to hang out with a group of female entrepreneurs. So the moment she said, I'm looking for a women community of female entrepreneurs, my name came up. Genecia, Alluora, Soul Rich Woman. And then that's how we got connected. So I'm like, I have Elena's and Grant's number by WhatsApp. We are connecting with each other now. Like we are constantly texting, so where's your jet flying to at this moment? Oh, we are in Brazil. We are here. We are there. So they're quite fun couple to hang out with, okay? So my point is this: if you have come to a point in your own area where people mention your name when the moment they think about a certain mastery, like women entrepreneurs or female entrepreneurs in Southeast Asia, who do I hang out with? If you think about funnels in maybe, I don't know, wherever you're at, maybe New York, and they think about you, right? That's when you are at the next level because you have become the industry expert, the epitome of that level of panel where people are looking up to you and say that, hey, the whole level right now, what is the trend moving forward? They will listen to you and they will want to pay you the money to hire top dollar to make sure they hire you into either their organization or to, do something with them, to consult them even. So that's how I think the thing can move forward.
What about like what do you think the best social platforms or best marketing platforms to be able to be findable like that? I mean, when I think of what you just explained, where, Elena Cardone comes in and she wants to find, a group of female entrepreneurs, is she Googling that, or is she looking on Instagram? What do you think of the places are to be, and what like is specific marketing strategy would you suggest when you
So
kind of have your
Elena,
niche?
yeah. So Elena Cardone, when she asked, she was asking someone. She
So it's
asked
word of
a
mouth kind
person.
of thing.
Yeah. So if you are able to get, you see, the key about online marketing, do you agree, is to get into the minds of the people.
Yeah.
It takes 3 to 7 seconds to make a first impression. So if you can get that into people's mind and consistently being shown up, I would not say a certain platform, because it's all about, if I were to search you, how credible are you? Is your things relevant? Like if you were to Google you right now, or whoever who is tuning in, like how relevant is your news? Is it in 2006? Is it like a post written in 3 years ago?
Oh
So
yeah.
how relevant are you right now? When was your Forbes interview, or when was your Forbes interview being done? Was it 1 year ago? Okay, that's still pretty relevant. CNBC, when was the last interview that was done, or what was the last podcast that was done? So that give audience a comfort that, who exactly are you, right? So I think that's one of the things, being relevant. And then, of course, after that, Elena Cardone did Google me, like what I'm sharing with you, because that was what she shared with me. She Googled me, she went on to Instagram, she searched me, she went on to Facebook, she checked me out. So it's the whole process of people want to make sure that you are credible, right? So then how relevant, how credible, and what are some of the things that you are doing right now that's consistent? So if you have a podcast like what you're doing right now, then I mean, just consistently show up and be the best that you can be by giving the real value, by solving that one problem immediately for your listeners or for your community, so that you're always up there. So it's not about getting the end result of where you should be. It's more of who are you serving and where are they at.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. So when you're talking about, you're being in service, you're helping people, and where are you before, you said earlier you were kind of going like door to door almost. You're going to like, poorer areas of Southeast Asia, trying to connect with, these different women that maybe couldn't afford, they couldn't afford high profile masterminds or whatever. Were you finding that, you were getting a lot of your reach with that one-on-one connection, and then it was just like them telling other people about you? Or were you finding that it was more of like, I had a podcast that was really successful, or I got on TV, or I did something like that? Where were you finding, that you had the most impact in what you were doing?
Oh, okay. So my profile is quite interesting. Like I said, because I was already on TV and radio for more than 10 years here in Singapore and Asia. So people do know me to a certain extent.
Okay.
And then I leverage on my current profile. I have to do a rebranding because of my previous, because when you come from the entertainment side, sometimes people don't really take you very seriously when you move into the business aspect. So I had to do a rebranding, and then, yeah, really, it's true. And then I had to do a rebranding, and then look into my own profile and then structure that, right? So I continue to work on my online part, where I run webinars, the same thing, the webinars, the live shows, the Facebook lives, and everything else. And then I travel Southeast Asia to work with local partners. So we get into local television network or local media. I think because PR is my strength. So
Okay.
I managed to get into local media quite a fair bit to hype up the awareness. And then we work with local partners who knows the community better than us. So it's not about poorer countries. It's more like, that national kind of like social economic earning as a woman over in those countries are as such. But of course, there are women earning higher, like $1,000 USD. If they work in a bank, they will be paid about 1,000. If they work for a MNC, they may be paid all the way up to maybe 2,000 USD. But really depending on their roles, right? So by working with local partners, that has traction as well. And we equip these partners with our Soul Rich Woman Blueprint. So they become our Soul Rich Woman Blueprint like coaches. So you can get certified with us. So once you're certified, you carry our brand, you can teach this this technique to many women out there to help them to go online. So we empower women to empower others because we really believe in the vision of teaching a woman how to fish so that they can fish for a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they want continuing like education and support, they come back onto online where they do the $12 a month, and then they go up the value ladder where from $12 they go up to the digital products. They can do a clarity call, and then they go up to like the full day workshop, or then they can go up to a what's it called, mastermind, and then the group coaching, and then the one-on-one mentoring. So there is a value ladder involved in the entire pipeline. So the totality, I would say, it's you need to look into, okay, we're a marketing person. You need to look into your brand strategy of creating first the awareness, and then after that, the affinity, which is that engagement and connection. So PR is important. Don't think that PR is not important. PR is important too. And then, of course, looking at your marketing, how much money you're putting into your ads to really reach out to those people. Number three, on the ground level, so that they know that you are not just some fluff online. When they see you in person, they hear you speak, they look at the teams that are involved. That's when, you know, the through and through pipelines are what we call an omni-channel approach, where, you know, at all multiple touch points, they will feel secure and they can trust you, because women are not so easy to trust other women. I mean, I'm not sure about your area, but somehow for our area, it is like that because of the culture here and the history. Okay, in different countries, you will know why if you were to study a little bit of their history. So the trust factor is very important. So I always tell my women in the community, be authentic, and always build trust. These are the two key things. So when we go by these factors, like play win-win, together we win, ask clarifying questions, leverage, don't judge, no gossiping. By going by these core values, remember the cape, when you wear the cape, the core values come into play. It helps to build the culture within the community. And you ask me, how do we find it most effective? I tell you, everything is important, but your culture, your core values are key and instrumental in any pivot points that you're putting out there. Because like a tree, you want to grow an apple tree. What do you plant? An apple seed, right? And then it'll become an apple tree. If you were to plant, you want orange, you have to plant orange, right? Orange seeds to grow into an orange tree. So it's the same thing. So you want to grow something really beautiful, you have to start from the roots and start with the nutrients that you're giving it.
I think that's great advice. Starting with really strong values in what you believe in, because that's the foundation. Just like you're saying, that is the seed that's going to grow into that beautiful tree. I think that's wonderful. You know, just as we wrap up here, I just wanted to ask, you know, if you had some parting wisdom or just parting advice to someone to kind of leave them understanding that they can do more, right? That they can feel, that they can build fulfillment, that they can accomplish more in their life than they might think, what would you say to them?
Step out of your comfort zone, go towards the dreams that you've always wanted to achieve. When I interviewed Gary Vaynerchuk, he said, go to an elderly home and look into the eyes of the elderly. What do you see? Do you see joy? Do you see sadness? Do you see anger? Do you see regret? What do you see in those eyes? And then decide the life that you want to live. So the interview I did with Gary Vaynerchuk was very powerful, because that statement really just embodies what we are living and how our attitudes toward our life are. So if you really want to live life the way you want, which is to dream big, to live big, and to really be fulfilled, to be the woman who own the F word, being fabulous, having freedom and financial independence, then take action now. Join a community, and then, you know, get yourself out there.
Genecia, wow, that was powerful. Where can they connect with you? How can they get involved in your community? How can they continue to stay engaged with your mission and your message?
Oh, please connect with me on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, by my name, Genecia Alluora, GeneCiaAllura, Genecia Alluora.
And that'll all be
my
in the
name is
show
founder.
notes as well for everybody.
Yes. And then the website, I've got 2 downloadables for you. First is the Personal Branding Secrets download, which you can download and find out more how you can personal brand yourself. And then number 2 is to delegate 80% of your to-do list to your assistants so that they can help you to make money. So that is available at soulrichwoman.com, SOULRICHWOMAN.com.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you again, Genecia, for coming on the show today. This was absolutely incredible. And I hope that we can leave just some incredible gold nuggets for the women out there listening. But hey, I'm a guy too, and I thought that this was extremely insightful, very helpful, and it just really simplified the personal branding space and just how to become a successful entrepreneur like yourself. So thank you so much for the time. What's up, everybody? This is your host, AJ Armstrong. You can follow me on Instagram at AaronArmstrong33. That's Aaron Armstrong 33, or you can go to my website, aaronjarmstrong.com. Thanks so much for listening through to the end. I wanted to also introduce you guys to our Facebook community. So you can go to Winners Wallets Worldviews on Facebook, and it's a group where we can offer, different opportunities for you guys to ask questions. If you have a Q&A or something in your business or a challenge in your life that you want to bring up, that's the community to ask it. And then I can also share that with all of our listeners on our social media platforms. The final thing I wanted to share with you guys is something that Marissa and I have been so excited for. It's been really chomping at me to freaking tell you guys. And it's our Personal Growth Ventures Retreat. So our Personal Growth Ventures Retreat is going to be located on the island of St. Lucia. It's going to be a business seminar combined with personal growth and development. And we're also adding in something nobody else has ever done in a seminar that I've heard of. And that's fitness and adventure. So these are the things that are going to help push us to our limits. It's going to help us break through our fears. And these adventures are going to be one of a kind. If you want to find out more about what our adventures entail, what's going to be involved in the education session, and where this is all going to be happening and when, you can go to our website, personalgrowthventures.com. That's personalgrowthventures.com. It's also going to be located in the show notes. So with that said, guys, thanks so much for listening through to the end. Once again, go be somebody.